What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Another day, another auction. We got some more projects over here at Auto Auction Rebuilds. So today I took a risk. You guys know I'm kind of big on taking chances, and sometimes I win. In fact, most of the time I win, and then there's times that I lose, and we don't know the status of that yet. So we're going to reveal the first win. That's right, the first one, because there's multiple wins. Number one is a 2013 Dodge Dart SXT with 78,000 miles. It's a flood vehicle. Damage to the rear bumper right here, as you can see. Not too horribly bad, but the flood issue is definitely concerning, and I bought this sight unseen as usual. I'm always screwing around like that. Dent right there, nothing too major. Another little ding right here. Now, it's listed as a no start, no run, absolutely nothing, and that's pretty much what it is. We don't know anything about it. I don't know how far the water got up. I can tell you, inside the car definitely has a smell, but it's not too horribly bad. Put the key in the ignition, see if it does anything. Nothing at all. All right, kind of to be expected. Now, this is one of those, I've bought flood cars before, ladies and gentlemen, that have ran just fine. They've literally fired up and drove home. One off the top of my head is a Chevy HHR that was on the channel for a while. And we literally picked it up and drove it home. Sometimes the insurance companies will list flood cars as non-runners, even though they may run just fine. They just list them as non-runners for one reason or another. And then again, there's also the possibility that the engine is seized, and it's kind of hard to tell here. It's definitely got oil, but you can see there's mud all over under the hood here. We're just going to put a booster pack on it, and we're going to see what it does. And that's probably not the best way of doing things, but it is what it is right now. So let's get the booster pack on it and see if it clicks or what the deal is. My fingers are crossed that this is going to be one of those lucky ones that will just fire up, run and drive, no issues. But like I said, sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. But for the purchase price, I don't feel like I'm going to lose out too badly. We only gave what, $1,150 was my winning bid. All right, everything's good. It was right at $1,500 out the door. Yeah, I probably did spend a little more than I should have, but whatever. All right, so the good news, we're doing this right here with you guys, so I'm not cheating you out of anything, but the gauges come on and click. That's what I was afraid of. What's interesting is it's not a it's not a loud hardcore click that I would expect from a starter trying to engage. Let's see what the remote start does, if it does anything. Aborted, hood open. Okay. Well, I mean, the electronics do seem to function, but yeah, definitely we got to click there. So what we may have to do is get it back to the house. We'll probably have to have it towed and just go from there, I guess. Get it, or not back to the house, get it back to the garage, tow it to the garage, and see if we can figure out what's going on with it. Maybe crack open the spark plugs. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll crack open the spark plugs, probably pour some Marvel Mystery Oil down into the cylinders. You can see down here there's storage compartments in the seats. It doesn't look like water got up into the seats, so I don't think water got too high in this car. But it apparently, it sounds like anyway, it sucked up some water. So figure it out from there. So I went out last night and I picked something up. Boy, let me tell you, buying all these tools gets real expensive real quick, but It's all necessary for what we're gonna be doing around here. So I went and I picked up a 20-foot, I believe. It's either an 18 or a 20. I honestly can't remember. This is a diamond plate trailer. It's got a dovetail, but not much of one. This isn't like a dovetail where the back end is just, you know, sitting on the ground. You're gonna scrape it and bottom out on everything. It's got trailer brakes. It's got LED lights. It's got the D-hooks in the floor, which are great. And then you got your post rails over here on the side. You got your ramps back here. I feel like I kind of stole this, man. The guy was asking $2,500 and I got it for $2,300. And I can tell you this, last year, for those of you that remember, I bought a, this is a 2019. It's used, but it's a 2019. It still had the certificate of origin. I bought a 18-foot with 2-foot dovetail, so a total of 20-foot trailer with a wood bed. But the dovetail was diamond plate. And I paid $2,800 after taxes and everything for that one. So, you know, take that into consideration. This one was a steal for one that's not wood. I don't have to worry about the wood rotting away. The diamond plate will last a whole lot longer. Yeah, we went and picked it up last night, $2,300 cash. And we got something to haul cars now, folks. That's exciting. That's real exciting. We got a trailer. We got a shop. We got several cars out here, and let me tell you, we got more coming. All right, so we drug the old girl in here, and I guess now it's time to find out what all's going on. So we took the battery out, put the battery on charge. We took the engine cover off to get it out of the way. As far as checking the oil, it's really hard for me to say if there's any water in it. It doesn't look milky to me, and it's just above the safe full mark. But we are going, the first thing we're going to do, first things I should say, so we're going to get under here and we're going to take these coil packs off, and we're going to take the spark plugs out, and we're going to find out if there's any water in the cylinders. This thing's been sitting since like October, I think October of 2018. I can't read that. Well, it's either October of 17 or October of 18. Let's hope it's October of 18. So if there's water in the cylinders, what we do know is that the engine is not turning over, absolutely not turning over. But we also know it's got low mileage, so I feel like there's a chance here. There's a chance this thing might be savable. We've done it before. Maybe we can do it again. If not, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You know, we'll make the best of a bad situation. Potentially, we may have to replace the motor. I'm down for that. I'm totally ready to do that. If that's what it takes, then that's what we'll do. But I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. Right here, we went to Harbor Freight. And I want to give a big shout out to Austin. Austin is a manager over at Harbor Freight. He's a great guy. He helped us find everything we need, hooked us up real nice. Awesome dude. So Austin, I hope you're watching this video. And I really do appreciate you, man. Really, seriously, shout out to you. Thank you so much. You're a great dude. This is a 5-gallon oil container. I wish I could have afforded the bigger one, but sadly, you know, I just got to be careful with how much I'm spending right now. This 5-gallon one will do just fine. So you can get the car up in the air, you change your own oil, your transmission fluid, everything pours right into here. So you can do this stuff not having to crawl on the ground. We already got the car on the lift and pretty much ready to go. So I guess step number one is we'll pull out the dipstick, we'll take off the oil cap, and we'll pull the spark plug coils and the spark plugs. And you know, we'll start with that and see if we've got any water in the engine. I did buy new oil, cheap oil filter, and 3 quarts of Marvel Mystery Oil, because since the engine's not cranking over by hand, I'm going to dump, pretty much probably fill these cylinders up with Marvel Mystery Oil and let them soak. I want to be very careful with this engine. I want it to run. So let's get to it. So I don't know how well this comes out on video, but all 4 of these spark plugs are wet. Now, the fact of the matter is we did try to crank the engine over before, so that could have something to do with it. The smell on them smells like rotten fuel. That sucks, but it does smell like pretty bad gasoline. But I also think I see some condensation on the plugs, so I'm pretty sure we've got some moisture in there. Next step is to stick something down the cylinders, something long, and we'll see if we've got any standing water in the cylinders. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this long extendable magnet and we're going to push this down into the cylinders. And we're going to touch the pistons with them to find out if we have any water standing in the cylinders. So this piston is already pretty much at the top of its stroke. There's no water in that cylinder. Move over to the next one. Pull it out. No water in that cylinder. So far, so good. This is good news, guys. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Here's the next cylinder. No water in that cylinder. Hey, this is really, really, really good news so far. Okay, last cylinder. There's water. There's definitely water in that cylinder. Okay. All right, so it looks like that cylinder actually has a decent amount of water in it. So that really helps us because now we know where we really need to be focusing on. We really need to be focusing on this cylinder right here because that is the one that has standing water in it. So that's not the greatest news, but at least we know. So now we're going to move on. We're going to take the air intake box off and have a look at what's going on in there. All right, so this thing has definitely been wet. I think you can kind of see what looks like mold growing in there. So, I mean, that's obvious. We knew the filter had to be wet because there is water in one of the cylinders. So, you know, now we know. I've seen filters that look a lot worse than this. So let's see if we can get you a look down in there. That's gross. Just toss that. This is no good. And we continue our mission. All right, my next step is to take this big old shop vac of mine. This is a 12-gallon, 4.5 horsepower shop vac. We got a tiny attachment on the end of it here. And if I don't lose everything first, we're going to take this shop vac, we're going to drop it down into the spark plug well, and we're going to hold it tight to create a seal. And we're going, I'm actually going to do this to each one, and we're going to do our best to suction out any remaining water in these cylinders before we fill them up with Marvel Mystery Oil. All right, so here I've got my Marvel Mystery Oil, and even though this will probably end up making a mess eventually, for now we're just gonna start dumping it down the cylinders. There we go, it's flowing out. Now, I'm gonna make a mess, like I said, and that's fine. I don't mind, I'll clean it up. Right now, I just wanna make sure this stuff soaks in here. There we go. This one could use a little more. Next cylinder. I think what we may be looking at is a couple cylinders with the valves closed and a couple cylinders with the valves open, and perhaps it's leaking through the open valves, which is fine. This cylinder is mostly full now. Put another bottle in there. All right, now we're gonna raise the car up. We're gonna drain the oil, and we'll get a better look at what's going on underneath the car so we can check for any additional damage. Before we get the car too high up, I'm just gonna make sure I'm comfortable with it. And raise it up the rest of the way. All right, we got Tim over here wrenching. He's going to take this plastic piece off. This plastic piece is so broken, it needs to come off. We need to replace it, assuming we get it running. And we've got to take this off anyway because the crankshaft pulley is going to be up in here, and we gotta be able to remove this to gain access to that pulley so that we can gently, very gently, I want to stress very gently, rock the engine back and forth just a little bit to try to break some of that loose. We'll take a quick look on the underbelly of the car so far. This thing, I don't think that this was a car that was completely submerged underwater, but you can see that we've got mud caked to the exhaust. So it looks like somebody was pushed into the mud or something, and unfortunately, I don't know where the air intake is on this, but wherever it is, it must be fairly low, and it sucked up water without a doubt. But underneath, everything looks pretty good. The tires are in great shape. They match the axles, sway bars, tie rods, control arms. Everything looks good except for you can see all the scraping from the forklifts. The forklifts get under here, man. They just eat this stuff up. The other one's the same way. But otherwise, everything under here looks to be in really, really good shape. We got a little bend, looks like in the exhaust right here. Looks like it might have been kinked a little bit. Forklifts have scraped that as well. We got scrapes from the forklifts here. Same thing with this back here, scrapes from the forklift. This has been damaged. This is nothing more than just a belly cover back here for the rear bumper. So the rear bumper would have to be replaced anyway. It is damaged. I don't believe that's repairable at all. So, but before we go getting into any of that, we got to try to get it running. You know what I mean? Great tires. Everything under here looks pretty good. So we're going to get this drain plug off, and we'll bring over the my newest tool. I'm gonna love this thing for transmissions, for engines. This thing's gonna be great, great. Look at that. Well, get you out of light there. Isn't that freaking wonderful? Almost said the F word. Isn't that freaking wonderful? All right, let's get this oil out of here. All right, so I broke this loose. We're gonna get our new pan under here. Pop this off and see what it looks like. Maybe it's milkshake. If we're lucky, it's not. Oh, well, that answers that. That is definitely water sitting in the oil pan. Well, we knew that was a definite possibility. That really sucks. All right, I'm gonna put this back in temporarily. We're gonna leave it open, let it drain in a minute. But first, we're gonna get this. Oh boy, that's on there. Looks like we're gonna get a tool on that. All right, we got the oil filter wrench on here. I had to kind of tap it lightly with a hammer and persuade it a little bit, but it's on, although I don't think we will ever get it off again. All the oil in the filter looks good. Screw it. Let's just get this thing off of here. No, there's milkshake in that too. We'll leave that sitting there. We'll let all this kind of drain. Then we'll get it back to the drain plug and let that drain as well. All right, so it's getting late and I have to edit this video for you guys to watch. So I'm gonna call it a night. We took the wheel off. We took the fender liner off. I'm sorry I did all this without you. I'm sweating. It's pretty warm right now. I put the impact socket on it and I was hoping we could just gently rock it. I wasn't trying to bust it loose tonight, but I was hoping we could get the crank to turn even just the slightest bit. Would have given me some hope. I like to do that. Everybody does it a different way, but I personally like to get it to crack just a little bit And that way I know that oil and stuff that I dump down the cylinders is gonna really get soaked in there instead of being just stuck and covered by rust. But so far, we have not been able to get it off with a breaker bar. We haven't been able to get it to, or not off, we haven't been able to get it to turn at all with a breaker bar. Haven't been able to get it to move at all with the impact. So it's not looking good. In fact, it's looking pretty dismal right now. So I guess what we're gonna do tonight is we're just going to let it down a little bit, fill her up with some fresh oil, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see what's going on then. So cross your fingers. Otherwise, I'm batting what, 0-3? Oh, you guys don't know about the other one yet. They don't know about the other one yet. So yeah, 0-3. Okay, technically not. The other one does run and drive. It's got a little damage, but it's one that I don't think we're gonna make any money on. You know, that's, unfortunately, it does require some work. Well, I don't think it's gonna be anything significant, but I was hoping it'd be something we could make some money on. I'm not sure it is. There's a lot of different things we could do with that one. We're tossing the ball around on what to do with that one, but you're gonna have to wait to see that one for another video. But for now, what I want you to do is comment below and tell me, do you think this thing is going to turn over? Now, I'm not asking you if it's gonna run. Chances are real slim it's gonna ever run, but do you think we're gonna be able to break this engine free? The cylinders are full of Marvel Mystery Oil. We just let it sit there and soak for a while and hope to God something happens. But I'm not expecting much. So comment below, tell me what you think. Do you think this thing's gonna be able to crank over by hand? As if so, then we'll be able to start putting it back together and see if it runs. I'm not so optimistic about it, and I've got about $1,500 into this one. That hurts, that really hurts. And because we don't have a dismantler's license, we cannot dismantle the car and sell parts off of it. So it basically has to be sold as a parts car. That sucks. That really sucks. There's also an alternative. We could put an engine in. The car to me looks nice enough. I'd be willing to put a motor in this. Absolutely. My only hesitation is if the motor is full of water. I mean, it was. You saw the motor was full of water. How do we know the tranny's not? And if the tranny's full of water, it could be ruined. So, I mean, I would hate to go through all the trouble of putting a motor in this thing. Find out the transmission's ruined too. We're just gonna have to keep wrenching on it and figure it out as time goes on. And hopefully you guys will stay tuned and follow this journey along with me. Appreciate my brother Tim over there hiding down in the corner. He's been a big help. If you see this mess all over the floor, this was me. This is all me, and I made a trail of transmission blood all the way out the door. And I did not realize I left the transmission lines disconnected. So needless to say, when I fired it up and drove it out the door, it lost every bit of transmission fluid that sucker had in it. So thanks to my brother for coming out here, hanging out all night and helping me with this. I really appreciate it. So with that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Please do me a huge favor. Like the video and share the video. Like, that's the best thing. Like, comment, and share it. That's the best thing you can do to help grow and support the channel. I certainly appreciate all of you. Stay tuned. I think tomorrow we're going to reveal the next one. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. And I don't usually do this. I usually make you wait for it. But I'm going to give you a hint. And I want you guys to comment below and tell me what you think it is. Let me get back here. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll give away part of the front end right here. Right there. You see it? Right there. Comment, what do you think it is? What do you think we bought? I'll tell you this, it's better off than this one though, because at least that one runs and drives. I was able to drive it here. All right, now I'm serious. That's it for the video. I am going to get out of here. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe out there, everybody, and stay tuned because I will catch you very soon in the next one.